Hello, pipe mates. Gary here. I'm old and in the way. It is St. Patrick's Day Eve here, and it is a beautiful day. We're to reach a high of 70, if that's to be believed. Hopefully, we're on our way. This is part 2 of my series on stoving. If you saw my post of last week, I stoved some OGS in an oven set at 200 degrees, one jar at 2 hours and one jar at 4 hours. And today we're going to see what the results are. At the minute, I am smoking my Savinelli Piccolo. My favorite shape pipe at the moment, has been for the last 5 years or so, is this little Prince shape, and this Savinelli is a absolutely stunning representation of that style, in my humble opinion. And in the Prince, I have OGS, of course. And this is the unadulterated, straight out of the jar. It has those wonderful hay and grass notes. Nice sweetness, some citrus. It's a really nice summer blend, and on a day like today, it's perfect. It's going down really well. Do I taste perique in this? Yes. Very light, but definitely during the retrohale, I get a little tingle. It's slight. Really, the Virginias carry the day with this blend, but there is a little bit of a tang and a little bit of sharp, a little peppery flavor. So if you stay with me, we will explore the taste profile of the 2-hour jar and the 4-hour jar. As a recap, I set the oven at 200 degrees and put half of a tin in a jar for 2 hours and the other half in a jar for 4 hours. And we'll check out the aroma of the jar to see if that's been changed at all. We'll check out the color of the flakes, and maybe just also see the tensile feel of those. Has that been altered? I'm about 20 miles south of O'Hare Field, and because of the wind direction today, we are in the takeoff path. So I apologize, and that's the way it is. Apologies from all the airlines. All right, stay with me. Let's carry on. So hopefully you can see these okay. I've got them laid out as original 2-hour and 4-hour. And I think you can tell that the original is definitely lighter in color, and the 2-hour is definitely darker, and the 4-hour is a little more brittle and darker still. What was surprising to me, not the color change, but the aroma difference between the 2-hour. So let me remind myself of this. Definitely smell raisins. Definitely smell baked bread. Definitely smell an oatmeal overtones, which is very much less apparent in the tin with the unstoved tobacco. The aroma coming off the 2-hour is definitely more pronounced. The 4-hour jar, interesting. The 4-hour jar has a little bit less of an impact on my nose than the 2-hour, but more so than the original. So as far as the aroma, the scent coming off the jar, the 2-hour is definitely the strongest of the three. So we'll see if that translates into taste profile. I should also say that I did not film taking the 4-hour sample out of the oven. It was a repeat of the 2. But one thing I did notice, a difference between the 2 and the 4, is if you recall, or if you saw my video, I replaced the hard cap with tin foil and then screwed the ring on to hold it in place. When I pulled the 4-hour sample out of the oven, the tin foil was domed, convex, much more so than the 2-hour. There was a little bit of doming on this, but not nearly as much as the 4-hour. And after 10 minutes of cooling, it turned to a concave shape. The tinfoil was sucked back into the glass, and I noticed a little bit more moisture on the jar. So those were my impressions and observations. If I were to do this again, I would consider wrapping the flakes in tinfoil and sealing them in tinfoil and putting them in the jar to keep the moisture very close to the tobacco itself. That moisture coming off of there are the sugars and other chemicals from the tobacco, and I hope I haven't lost them in the jar. But that would be a slight alteration to my formula. So anyway, let's move on to the taste test. I'm smoking the 2-hour sample in my rope or ROP J06 Prince. I do like what I'm tasting. Definitely deeper. The grassy notes are there, but the flavor is melded, if you will. I guess the best analogy would be a 3-day-old chili as opposed to the chili that you've just completed. The flavor is richer, it's deeper. There is still this hint of sharpness. And I'm definitely picking up a little more of a stewed fruit flavor. I am really enjoying this. The texture of the flake was not quite as pliable, and it wasn't because it was dried out. I think the cell structure had changed. to the point where it was just a little bit stiffer. When I broke it up and rubbed it out, the flakes were slightly bigger than the unstoved sample, but they were not dry. There's a nice moistness there. Cheers, everyone. Some black Irish tea, breakfast tea. I do enjoy tea with my pipes. Yes. I'm not going to say that I would always stove Orlik or any Virginia, but it definitely is a flavor profile that I am enjoying. It's not quite as grassy, not quite as sharp, if you will, as the unstoved. But it has a depth of flavor that I really enjoy. So, let's move on to the 4-hour sample and see if we can determine if there's any difference, good or bad. Stay tuned. So we've moved on now to the 4-hour sample, and I am smoking it in my ROP J06 rusticated. Is it different than the 2-hour sample? Indeed it is. The citrus flavor is moved into the background a little bit more. The grass, hay notes are not as prevalent or in the forefront. The profile that I'm tasting is more molasses. Is it quite as noticeable as going from a lager to an ale to a stout? Not quite that noticeable, but that's the sort of progression, if you will, that I'm tasting. The flavor is deeper. In tone. I can tell that it's a Virginia, but it's a changed Virginia. I like it. I would if I asked myself, was this little DOE a design of experiment? Was it successful? It was, because I didn't ruin anything. And frankly, I'm pleased with the results. I would continue to smoke Orlik out of the tin for that flavor profile, and I would definitely smoke a 2-hour or a 4-hour stoved sample. I've taken one tobacco and really created 3 profiles with the stoving process. I don't harbor any illusions of replicating a tin that's aged for 10 years or 5 years. I didn't expect that, but I do like the results, most definitely. Yes. Yeah, I really like this. It's a simple process. It's fun. I would recommend that if you're interested at all in trying it on your own, to do it. I have to say that I got a response from one of our colleagues, and he said that he never stoved tobacco in a stove, but he stoved it in his truck. And on a hot summer day, your tobacco in a pouch on the dashboard, yeah, absolutely. It brings back memories of my my buddy growing up. His father was a great pipe smoker, and he always kept his pouches in the truck, and he and now I guess I understand why. He may not have realized he was stoving, but he definitely changed the profile, taste profile of his tobacco, and he did that forever. So so I would say give it a try, if you're at all interested. It definitely has an effect. Try it for yourself. See if you agree that it's an enhancement, that it's or it's just a change, but something that you like. That's it for now. I'd like to say happy St. Patrick's Day in advance to anybody out there that wants to celebrate that event tomorrow. Yeah. Take care, guys. Take it easy, but take it.